right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all are having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a good day. So this video just popped up on my feed. There was no request or anything like that. It literally just popped up on my feed, and I was about to watch this, and I realized, you know, this literally plays right into that video I reacted to. I believe it was the After Dark on the 23rd. That was basically going through the history, the evolution of.
If you go back and play NBA.
What the hell? Sorry, pro YouTuber here. Where it was doing the history of Michael Jordan in video games, you know, the evolution of it. And the question arose of why Michael Jordan was not, you know, in certain video games. And I figured we'd watch this because as far as I remember it, it was that Michael Jordan and the Windy City or whatever that video game was, where he's like a superhero with a basketball fighting crime or whatever. Game I rented once, and being the biggest Jordan fan ever, we never played it again because it was just not a fun game. But like that was that's always at least what I believe was the reason. But then I saw in that video EA was the one who published it. So now I got a little confused after that. And I guess Google was reading my mind because you know how like technology is now. And this video popped up on my feed. So this is titled Why Michael Jordan Was Not in NBA Jam. This is coming to you from a channel called Basketball in Context. I've never seen a video from this channel that I know of. I'm not subscribed, but I might be after this. 4.77 thousand subscribers. This video just came out a couple days ago, and the video has about 1,000 views on it. So small channel here, you guys. So yeah, I'm linking the original video down below in the description. If you end up liking this and you want to check out the original channell here, the channel of Basketball in Context, the link is down there for you if you want to go and subscribe and check out the other content. You also see a list of channel members. Shout out, you guys. I appreciate you all. Guys, I think that's it for the intro. I want to see what this is all about. So like the vid, I'd appreciate it. And here we go.
If you go back and play NBA Jam, you'll notice something. Somebody is missing.
Yep.
You'll notice the same problem if you play NBA Jam Tournament Edition. In fact, it doesn't matter which version you play, there is simply no Michael Jordan anywhere. Mm-hmm. Well, have you ever wondered why this is? Why did Michael Jordan just disappear from video games around 1992? Well, let's look into it. To understand this, we have to go back to the beginning of Jordan's pro career. So Michael Jordan had been a star in college and was coming off an amazing performance in the Summer Olympics in '84.
True.
He was the United States leading scorer.
But he cans that one, so Jordan.
Anyway, articles started popping up about Jordan's amazing abilities in the 1984 NBA preseason games. Some of these early articles described Jordan's special Air Jordan shoes. Notice, by the way, that this was a long time before Air Jordans were on the market. Anyway, word about the shoes spread incredibly quickly in the media. And before Jordan had played his second NBA game, he had an exclusive deal with Nike worth at least $2.5 million.
Interesting. Hold on, let me clear that up. David Falk, Senior Vice President. Okay, so David Falk, he was long time agent for Michael Jordan. He declined to comment on the exact worth of the pact. Sources said it was a 5-year deal worth at least 2.5. I guess back then they didn't want to divulge that he was actually getting Nike stock. Security package. Okay, so that's all they were saying. Long-term security package. But really what it was yeah, he was getting stock.
In terms of brand sponsorship money, Jordan was the best paid out of all the 1984 U.S. Olympic stars, earning even more than Mary Lou Retton. Well, that gives you sort of an idea of the sort of personality that Michael Jordan was. However, early in his career, that exclusive Nike deal didn't mean anything about Jordan appearing in video games. Like the other NBA players, Jordan appeared in games such as Bulls vs. Lakers.
Yep.
You can play as Jordan if you control the Bulls in Bulls vs. Blazers on the Sega Genesis. And then there were the NBA All-Star Challenge games, which are horrible. Well, the problem with those games, though, is that they were...
I'm glad to hear him say that, because that was one of those, I believe, we rented once and we never did it again.
Lousy.
What did he say?
which are horrible. Well, the problem with those games, though, is that they were lousy. The graphics look fine in the old EA Sports games, but the gameplay is slow and confusing. The nice thing is that the players are distinguishable. The bad thing is that everything else is awful.
Traveling.
Going back and
Hey, that's accurate. That's accurate for the time. They would call it travel for that.
playing those games again reminds me of why we played so much Tecmo NBA basketball back in those days. I mean, the game had problems, sure, but at least it was playable.
Yep.
The original NES version of Tecmo NBA basketball has Michael Jordan as a playable character. As I said before, this isn't exactly a great game. However, if you want to play as Michael Jordan in an old contemporary game, this game is your best bet.
It's funny, he's got a full head of hair. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one who felt this way about these certain games. Because, yeah, Tecmo was some of the most fun we had playing a basketball video game.
One thing you might not realize is that there are actually two variants of Tecmo NBA basketball on the NES. And, of course, there's a story behind this. After years of playing the endorsed...
Okay, I did not know about this. Jordan tells NBA can't sell clothes. Oh.
game by the same rules as everyone else, Michael Jordan suddenly announced that the NBA Players Association could no longer use his name and likeness. Rumors at the time were that Nike convinced Jordan to make this move. The NBA had apparently been selling merchandise with Jordan's picture on it, which Nike was upset about. And this was kind of significant. Jordan's name and likeness was worth so much that he figured he was better off without going through the Players Association for these deals.
Damn, so he started a ripple effect here too then. It took a long time, but eventually players like Charles Barkley and some other legends have refused to allow companies like... who is it? Who made 2K? Take-Two, I think, Interactive. Anyways, the creators of 2K to not use his likeness in video games unless you're going to pay him. You know, you're going to have to pay Charles and these other guys a good amount of money if you want to make money off of their name and their likeness. But Jordan was ahead of the game then. This I didn't know.
And so in 1991, the NBA sold an All-Star Weekend shirt that featured Jordan prominently placed in the middle of the stars. But for the 1992 shirt, Jordan was nowhere to be found.
Wow. And
unfortunately for the fans, the name and likeness control extended to video games. This is the less common version of Tecmo NBA basketball on the NES. Michael Jordan has been changed to Guard 99.
Oh, Guard.
Of course, you can tell who he is right away. He's the fastest player and has the best shooting percentage. Well, you can sometimes tell who he is. As I've said before, this game is a total mess. Now, the real interesting thing here is that the version without Jordan is the more rare version and commands a lot more money on the secondary market.
Go figure.
You can tell by looking at the label, assuming that it's the original label, of course. If you look closely at this part down here, you'll see the game's identifier. The common version says NES-BK USA. That's the one with Jordan. In contrast, this one says NES N7 USA. That's the one without Jordan. It's called N7 because that's the name of the chips that were used in the game if you open the game up. Compare that with the common version, which has the NES BK0 circuit board. I honestly don't know when this variation came out or what the full story is. I've seen rumors that the game was sold through 1993, and honestly, I believe it. I mean, I was there, and I remember that you could still buy a new NES as late as 1994. But it is interesting that the expensive version is actually the one without Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I don't think we ever rented the expensive version, the one without Michael Jordan, because I always remember M. Jordan being the thing there. It wasn't G. Bulls. I don't remember that at all until this video.
And so you can see this seller asking for $250 for a confirmed N7 variant of the cart. And here are two more expensive variants. This can cause some price confusion. For example, the cart in this auction is the common variant and the seller wants $50. That's a ridiculous price since you can get that variation of the cartridge in really nice condition for less than $10.
Crazy.
Anyway, this can help explain the price fluctuations.
Look at this
chart.
Sure,
the game might sell for about $650 if it's graded, but its scarcity really depends on the variation. And that makes things complicated, especially for sealed copies. I think this Rev A on the front means it's a revision of the original version, but I'm not sure. And it's hard to tell since there are so few copies of the N7 variation floating around. Anyway, Jordan dropping out of the normal video game world really hit hard. Tecmo Super NBA Basketball on the Genesis is better than the NES game, but Jordan is given a generic name. The same is true of the Super NES version. Well, I guess we should be happy that Jordan actually appears in those games, even if it's under a generic name. That makes it at least a step above NBA Jam, right? Jordan also doesn't appear on the Bulls in NBA Live 95.
Yeah, yep. This is that game. He's about to do it, isn't he? Right. If you watch the video from the 23rd, I said I always run out of bounds in this game because like these guys just don't stop. Oh, he almost did.
The same is true of NBA Live 96, though I've read that he's a hidden character in the game. Now, what most of us don't realize, including those of us who were following video games at the time, is that Jordan did appear in a few video games, and these were all EA games. You've got Michael Jordan in Flight for MS-DOS, which came out in 1993, right around when NBA Jam came out in the arcades. It's a 3-on-3 game, and man, it is bad.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst basketball games I've ever played. For some reason or other, EA decided to give Jordan a platforming game, Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City.
Okay, so I'm learning I had this whole thing wrong. I had the whole thing wrong. So Michael Jordan, the reason it wasn't in video games was because he basically stopped allowing the NBA to do it. The contracts with these games like Bulls versus Blazers and all that is a contract. It's a deal with the NBA itself to use the likeness and, you know, the teams, the logos, the players, the coaches, all that. And Jordan was no longer on that deal. So here goes Jordan, and he's making his own video games through EA. And I always just thought because of the timing of this game right here, that it was because of this game that basically nobody could put him in a game outside of this one because of some kind of contract or some kind of deal that went awry. So I was completely wrong then.
Came out in 1994. This one is a pretty lousy platform.
Yeah, it is.
The controls are bad, the story is ridiculous, and the levels are long and frustrating mazes. And fans were upset, so instead of having Jordan in NBA Jam, which was setting records in the arcade at the time, we had Jordan in a really crappy Prince of Persia ripoff game.
Yeah. We wanted to play basketball with Jordan, not like fight zombies or spiders and all this.
You look back, the whole idea was really dumb. Jordan
Agreed.
apparently did come back for NBA Live 2000. You can unlock 3 different Jordan characters in NBA Street Volume 2, which is legitimately one of the best basketball games of all time.
Agreed.
And then there's NBA 2K11, which is the best basketball game of all time, no question.
Agreed. Dude, I like this guy. We literally agree on every single basketball game here. Brilliant.
And then there's NBA 2K11, which is the best basketball game of all time, no questions asked.
Yep.
But, you know, we'll talk about those games individually when the time comes. But the sad part of all of this is that we didn't get an NBA Jam with Jordan.
I know.
But did you know that there is one that exists?
Yeah, they made it specifically for Michael Jordan to play. Let's see if I got that right.
Video game designer Mark Turmel, who made NBA Jam, did a Reddit Ask Me Anything thread way back in 2017. According to Turmel, special versions of NBA Jam were created for Jordan, Gary Payton, and Ken Griffey Jr.
Gary Payton and
Well,
Ken
at some
Griffey Jr.?
point in time, those EP ROMs were dumped and shared. The result is this game, NBA Jam Special Edition, which you can think of as an unofficial sequel to NBA Jam Tournament Edition.
Dude, the ROM has to be out there somewhere to play on an emulator. Oh, man, I wonder if I can find that.
Michael Jordan is a playable character right from the start. There are a few buggy things about this version, but it's still a load of fun.
Dude, yeah, I want to play as MJ and Pip.
And note that this is not a hack. All of this existed buried somewhere in the game's original source code. And if you have an arcade version of Tournament Edition, you can apparently flash the chips to play this version instead.
Dude.
Do a search or two on Google for NBA Jam Special Edition and you'll find what I'm talking about.
Okay, I will.
Well, that's the game that we really should have had back in 1993 and 1994. Now, I understand why Nike wanted the exclusive rights to Jordan, sure, and yeah, they made a lot of money from it. But we would have been so much better off as gamers if we had Jordan in NBA Jam instead of Chaos in the Windy City and that awful PC game. But hey, at least we can play NBA Jam today the way that it really should have been.
All right, well, that was a sudden stop to the video, but that was a very informative video. I mean, we're talking 8.5 minutes. that just blew up everything I thought from childhood all the way till now about this subject. Just blew it away. I was misinformed, and I stand corrected, and I'll always know now moving forward what exactly happened here. The idea that he actually is in an official version of NBA Jam, though, that just like sparks the nerd in me. Like I want to do some Google searches and find this ROM, because I would love to play it once at least with actual Michael Jordan in the game, legit too, not like some ROM hack, you know. Not a fan-made project, because I know that exists, but from the actual developers, yeah, I want that for sure. And it looks like it's gonna have to be an arcade ROM. So, all right, now I know. So I apologize for misinforming everyone. If you guys care, that is. It wasn't about the Michael Jordan in the Windy City or chaos in the Windy City that did it. That was actually a product of the deal that he now had, which didn't allow the NBA to use his likeness anymore. So now I know. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Consider subscribing to the channel. The link is down below in the description for Basketball in Context. I thought it was a cool vid. So it looks like he probably covers more than just, it's not video game related, it's more basketball related. But anyways, link is down below, you guys. I really enjoyed this one. I'm looking forward to the comments in here. So I'm going to go ahead and head out. Guys, like the vid if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Thank you so much for watching, and most importantly is to be water, my friends.